Hello, everyone. It is probably impossible to find a more aesthetic bodybuilder in history than the legendary three-time Mr. Olympia Frank Zane. Having started training at the age of 14 and having nothing but dumbbells and dreams, he was able to build a body that is still recognized by many experts and amateurs as one of the most perfect in the history of this sport. Working full-time as an ordinary school math teacher, Zane nevertheless found time to train and confidently walk towards his goal, the podium of the Mr. Olympia competition. Over time, he became a true icon of the fitness industry and remains one to this day. Weight on a barbell is an abstract concept. Your body doesn't know the exact weight you're lifting. It only recognizes how heavy this weight is, and the whole secret is to ease the feeling of heaviness. Many guys have better genetics than you, but by working hard in training, you can surpass them. Gradually increasing your working weight is the key to stunning long-term results, says Zane. Frank had a difficult childhood and youth. He was born on June 28, 1942, in the mining town of Kingston, Pennsylvania, where he got a job at the mine as a teenager. He worked hard and was involved in fights from a very early age. All this hardened him and gave the future champion the courage to stand up for what he believed in. At the age of 14, Frank's eyes opened when he found a bodybuilding magazine at school. The teenager was so inspired by what he saw and read that he immediately bought himself a set of 12-kilogram dumbbells and began to train hard. However, not everyone liked Frank's new passion. Zane's father believed that his son was wasting his time on training and should spend more time doing more productive chores around the house. However, in 3 years of hard training, Frank turned from a skinny 14-year-old boy weighing 58 kilograms into a stocky 17-year-old guy weighing 73 kilograms, a whopping 15 kilograms of muscle mass in just 3 years. Seeing how far their son would go to achieve success, Zane's parents eventually decided to support him in his bodybuilding hobby. Frank started studying at the university and simultaneously worked as an archery instructor at a Boy Scout camp. He also continued bodybuilding there. Zane trained at the camp with any available weights. At home, he did not have dumbbells of the right weight, and he took weekend shells from the camp, hitchhiking 30 kilometers with 25-kilogram dumbbells in his hands. He continued to train throughout the entire period of study, and as a result received a teaching diploma. Frank got a job in his new profession as a math teacher in Florida. By 1966, Zane had won almost all the local bodybuilding competitions and wanted to move to California, as it was the only way to reach a new level. However, he simply did not have enough money to move. That same year, Zane met his future wife, Kristen. Having come under the influence of Frank, she followed in his footsteps, took up bodybuilding, and began participating in competitions herself. It was clear that Zane had great things ahead of him and huge potential. After 2 years of serious training, he won the Mr. America competition in 1968 in New York, and then beat Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Mr. Universe competition in Florida, which took place just a couple of weeks later. Both Frank and Kristen became so passionate about bodybuilding that they decided to move to California together and see how far things would go. While still working as a full-time teacher, Frank managed to combine his working life and a successful bodybuilding career, quickly becoming known as the owner of one of the best physiques of all time. He either won or took very high places in all competitions in which he participated until 1977, when he won the most prestigious Mr. Olympia tournament, and for 3 consecutive years took it again in 1977, 1978, and 1979. There was no higher reward in the bodybuilding world then, and there still is. He was supposed to take Sandow's 4th statuette. But 2 months before the start of the 1980 Olympia, Frank had an unpleasant incident that almost cost him his life. He slipped near the pool, fell and was injured, losing a lot of blood. After this incident, Zane needed regular hospital visits. The wound opened again and again. It took him 2 weeks to get the situation under control. All this resulted in a total loss of about 8 kilograms of muscle mass. Zane consulted with Arnold Schwarzenegger about whether he should go to the Olympia despite his injury. Arnie assured him that he should still try to defend his title, despite the lack of time and the short time frame for recovery. Zane remembers this conversation. Arnold was often consulted by aspiring bodybuilders. They posed, and he pointed out their mistakes. I remember calling him in the evening and asking him what he thought I should do, and he said, "You need to go to Australia and defend your title." Zane did so, but in the end it was Arnold who lost and took third place after Chris Dickerson. He knew, of course, that he was unlikely to win. However, the following year he boycotted the competition, believing that Arnold was not in the best shape at Olympia 80 and did not deserve to win. According to Zane, Schwarzenegger showed poses that were not ordered, playing only with his strengths and refusing to show his weaknesses. The finale of Zane's career was in 1983, when he suffered another serious injury. He injured his shoulder in a bike accident. Refusing to withdraw from the Olympia, Frank did not allow doctors to perform surgery and train to overcome the pain until the competition. Zane finished in fourth place and needed extensive shoulder surgery to repair the damage. The 1983 Olympia was his last competition. After that, he and his wife finished their performance and focused on their own business, opening a bodybuilding training center. Frank Zane currently resides in San Diego, USA. Throughout his career, Frank has used different training styles. He was adaptable and was never afraid to try something new. Perhaps that's what made him so successful. When he first started training, his training style was quite easy. He aimed for a large number of repetitions to maximize muscle tone and study the relief. However, despite the fact that this style made him incredibly dry, it was not the best option for winning competitions. He needed volume, and Joe Weider said that the only way to achieve this is with heavy approaches and less volume, and it worked. As a result, Zane won 3 Mr. Olympia contests. At the beginning of his career, Frank did not divide workouts into different muscle groups, but simply trained his upper body on one day and his lower body on another. He could spend up to 3.5 hours training his upper body. It was only after moving to California that Zane decided to change his training style to better match other bodybuilders. All of this involved a more focused approach in daily training of different muscle groups. Frank performed 10 to 12 sets on small muscle groups and 15 to 20 sets on larger ones, gradually increasing the weights. Zane spent a lot of time training his abs, doing from 400 to 1,000 repetitions. Sometimes he returned to the gym after the main workout to work on his core muscles. As for nutrition, he was quite conservative, and in nutrition and calorie intake, he never consumed more than 3,000 calories a day and never paid too much attention to carbohydrates, but concentrated more on protein. In addition, he made sure that healthy fats made up at least 25% of his diet. To the question what influenced Frank Zane, the bodybuilding magazine he found at school. He probably realized how he would like to look in the near future, and the real impetus for success was his own determination. In an interview with Flex magazine, Zane recalls that the real reason he started bodybuilding was because of his surroundings. Growing up in a harsh city was not easy, and training with iron at the age of 14 was a good way to avoid trouble. Zane didn't have many idols, but he was an idol for many. He will be remembered as an icon of the golden age of bodybuilding and the owner of one of the best physiques of all time. Don't chase after quick results. Train wisely and you will build a beautiful body that will stay with you for years, Zane said. An important lesson that we can learn from Frank's biography is that you should not rush your progress and use your strengths. The champion himself has repeatedly admitted that he does not have the best genetics to approach the size of Arnold and Newbrett. Instead, he took his time and continued to train and change his style to figure out what his body should look like and what best suits his figure. He never wanted to be huge, so he tried to focus more on proportions, and this is a much more difficult path. The main thing here is to be patient. Frank Zane trained for more than 15 years before winning the Olympia for the first time, and then won it 3 times in a row. At his advanced age, and now the legend is 82, Frank still looks brilliant thanks to his dedication and discipline. He took his time and always thought about a long-term goal, not a quick victory. And as always, I will be grateful for your support. It helps in the development of the channel. Please like, subscribe to the channel, share the video with your friends, and do not forget to click on the bell so as not to miss the new release. Thanks for watching. Sports Guru was with you. See you later.